Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Travel Tech. So today we have Daniel for Travel Tech online sales trends for the coming years on hotel marketing. Today we have joined us Miss Taylor, Head of Commercial Asia Pacific Amadeus Hospitality. We have Isa Slowala, CEO at Easy Technosis. We have Murtuza Dijonawala, VP Business Development Apac for Aggregate Intelligence Inc. and Mr. James Bishop, Senior Director, Global Demand.
Sorry,
Yes.
Vinny, I don't think you've started broadcast because people can't hear you. I checked with my
No.
team. Nope, you need to start broadcast.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Travel Tech Apac. Today you have another great forum, the third one of the week. Today we're gonna speak about online sales trends for the coming years on hotel marketing. I have by my side as a moderator Neha Girona from Ivermax, Ray Tiger. We have joined us as the speakers Miss Maria Taylor, Head of Commercial Asia Pacific, Amadeus Hospitality, Isa Sudawala, CEO at Easy Technologies, Murtuza Jinowala, VP Business Development, Apac for Aggregate Intelligence Inc., and James Bishop, Senior Director, Global Demand Partnerships, iSignminder. All of you, welcome for another session. Travel Tech has been created globally to be a forum that started in Brazil and July 13. This is the second one we're doing for Apac. 19th of October, we're going to have the Latin speakers, and 23rd of November, we're going to have Travel Tech EMEA, that is Europe, Middle East, and or North of Africa. Travel Tech has been created to be a point of contact between all technological companies for hospitality and travel all over the world, where all the speakers that come here is to bring knowledge for the hotel side. So our focus on Travel Tech is bring knowledge and education and how to use tools and tips and hints concerning everything we can do with the technology and help you guys to get a best revenue and a best strategy. This is all about. So right now we're going to start with the presentations for all the inviters that we have. So we start with Izias from CEO at Easy Technosis. Izias, you have 3 minutes to talk about your company and yourself. Please, your turn.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, first of all, for setting up this Travel Tech and this panel. I'm very much hopeful that all the global hospitality business will benefit a lot from this knowledge platform. And thank you for having me here at this panel today to share my thoughts and experience over the online sales trend. So my name is Isa Sorawala. I represent Easy Technosis. Founded in 2006, more than a decade, we have been helping the small and independent hotels globally to have more efficient, to operate more efficiently and bring more profitability to their business. Easy is based out of India, recently been acquired by Yanolja, the #1 travel tech unicorn from South Korea, which is also endorsed by Booking Holdings, which runs Booking.com, Agoda, Kayak, and other brands. Today at Easy, as a hotel tech provider, we are one of the #1 company in as far as India market is concerned, and globally we strive to be coming into the top 3 PMS companies globally. Today we serve to around 22,000 plus clients across the globe in more than 160 countries as our customers, using end-to-end solutions from PMS, booking engine, channel manager, point of sale, and so on. And today I look forward to speak more on the online trends, specifically in the post-COVID situation. Yeah, that's all from my side, Vinny. Thank you.
Awesome, Izias. Thank you very much. Neha, it's your turn to present the next participant, please.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you so very much. I would now like to invite Miss Maria Taylor, who is Head of Commercial Sales for Amadeus. So, Maria, please go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
Thanks, Neha. Thanks, Vincius. So, Maria Taylor, I look after Amadeus for Asia Pacific region. Yeah, Amadeus came into the hospitality industry about 10 years ago. I've been with TravelClick, which was purchased by Amadeus in 2018. I've been there with TravelClick for 5 years. But before that, I had 25 years in the hotel space. So I headed up direct sales and distribution for Accor Asia Pacific for 20 years. And I've been doing online marketing since 1999 and revenue management since 1994. So yeah, maybe that ages me a little bit. But with Amadeus Hospitality, we've come together now as a number of companies that Amadeus purchased. So that was Newmarket around 5 years ago, which you would have known as Delphi as a sales and catering system, and Hot Sauce as a service optimization. Then TravelClick, we've of course got booking engines, CRS, business intelligence products, media products, business media solutions. So we do a lot of web marketing, and we work with around 50,000 customers around the globe. So I'm really looking forward to be on here. It's a topic I'm passionate about, and I love watching all the changes that have happened online.
Thank you very much, Ms. Taylor. Welcome. Everybody here is welcome. So right now we go to Mr. Murtuza, Vice President for Business Development, Asia Pacific at Aggregate Intelligence, Inc. Mr. Murtuza, you have 3 minutes. Please present yourself and your company, and welcome. We cannot listen to you. Maybe your microphone is on mute. No. On the top of the right side, you have the icon. If it's in red, just click it and you'll be able to speak. Technical issues happens. We're live, so people don't worry. That kind of things can happen every time. So patience for the public, please. Till Murtuza can fix it out. What we can do, we still not listen. What we'll do, I go to the James Bishops to present himself, and then we come back to you. It's okay, Murtuza? Just give him 1 second. We'll present James the correct way. So, Mr. James Bishop, Senior Director, Global Demand Partnerships at SignMinder. Mr. James, you have 3 minutes to present yourself and SignMinder. Be welcome.
Great. So many thanks, first of all, for having me here to obviously represent SiteMinder. SiteMinder itself is, well, we identify ourselves as a online guest acquisition platform, but we started back in 2006 as a channel manager, and I suppose that's probably how most people would see us today. But you know, it's gone a lot further than that. We're an online guest acquisition platform, obviously through the channel management perspective, helping hotels to distribute their rates and inventory and drive reservations through the online part. But you know, we've got a great direct booking platform. We also have the content management element, helping hotels to create their own website. We're providing GDS services, and of course rate intelligence. So it's really encompassing anything that's going to drive direct reservations. More recently, SiteMinder has started, in addition to distributing rates and inventory, we're distributing data through to third-party applications such as revenue management systems, upsell platforms, contact list platforms. So really enabling hotels to have a central hub of technology to introduce any aspect that's going to help them to drive revenue, drive guest satisfaction, or increase their occupancy. I've been part of SiteMinder for the last 8 years in various guises and roles. Spent most of that in the EMEA sales organization, but more recently for the last couple of years, as you said, I've been looking after the demand partnerships. So that is anything that's being that we can connect into the SiteMinder ecosystem that's going to drive value for the hotels that are using our platform. So I spend a lot of time trying to understand more of the market and what's really going to drive value to the hotels that are using our platform. Prior to SiteMinder, I've worked in various technology companies within the hospitality technology space. And prior to that, I started my career in hotels as a hotelier. That feels like a long time ago now. I'm not going to put any dates on it. But yeah, I've enjoyed the experience, I should say, and love this industry and happy to be in a position where, now through these sorts of forums that you guys are putting together, we can really help to sort of pass that experience on and help hoteliers do better.
So James, I in hotels in 1981. So
okay, I was in nursery in 1981.
You can put a date.
I started in 2000 and 2003. So where everybody's getting old, it's part of the life, guys. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, you got some years on me, but I'll catch up.
So Neha, if you can present Murtuza again. Murtuza, did you fix the we still
I hope you guys
be...
are able to hear me now.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we can.
Yes,
We can.
yes. So Neha?
Yes, I think Murtuza knows. So please, Murtuza, go ahead. VP Business Development, Apac for Aggregate Intelligence, Inc. We would like you to please present yourself and your company. Welcome.
Yep. Thank you, Neha, and thank you, Vinicius, for setting up this Travel Tech Forum. I'm looking forward for this interesting conversations regarding the online sales trend in the hospitality sector. About myself, I'm Murtuza Dinojwala, VP Apac for Aggregate Intelligence. About the company itself, as the name suggests, we specialize in sourcing, aggregating, enhancing data and make it more smarter, unique, actionable, and easy to use. So what we do is we provide direct real-time APIs and a purpose-built business intelligence solutions around the hotel pricing, reviews, and the events data.
It's good enough a little bit.
So that it can be used by our travel technology partners in the form of a white label form or an explicit partner. In the travel industry, we partner with technology companies, especially like PMSs, RMSs, distribution, channel managers, and also we partner with OTAs, tour operators, rental car companies, airlines, and destination marketing organizations, and many more to say. We have globally a workforce of around
We're losing you,
200 plus employees, and they work every day to enhance the data so that it could be a backbone for a good decision, and they provide support.
Okay, awesome. So for the public that join us here, I want to let you know we're going to start now with the first round of questions for all the participants here. I will request for the public, you have on the right side of your computer, if you are in a computer, if you're not in a computer, in your mobile, you have a gadget saying questions. If you have questions during the session, please write down your questions like this. At the end of the session, we can ask your questions to the professionals we have here today. Okay, thank you everyone. We're going to start with the first round of questions. So the first one goes for Isas, for CEO at Easy Technologies. So let's go ahead. The first question is, will mobile booking become the norm? Will hotels have to adopt mobile booking trends for higher exposure? I will repeat the question like this, everybody can understand. So will mobile booking become the norm? Will hotels have to adopt mobile booking trends for higher exposure? You have 5 minutes, please. All yours.
Thank you, Vinny. In terms of mobile become a trend or as a norm in a short term to medium term, I think it may not be the 100% where it can happen the bookings only through the mobile. But in my opinion, based on the various data about how the internet penetration is happening, the smartphone penetration is happening globally. If we talk about from Europe to coming back to Asia Pacific and the third world countries, right? I think with the internet penetration, the smartphone penetration, yes, in a long term and in a medium term, mobile exposure is very, very important for a hospitality business. And definitely the mobile exposure becomes a really important for a hotels to have on their strategy. If we look at some of the trends, what I think, even the OTA bookings are dominant through the mobile apps. Uh,
Yes.
Yeah, and the number of bookings growing from desktop versus the mobile. So I think the mobile number bookings from the mobiles are growing at the 3x to 10x speed, depend on region to region, right? So I think that gives very much clear evidence that this particular strategy to have for a hotelier to have the exposure of their own brand or of their own property, of their own assets to be have the mobile presence, be it through the apps, be it through the mobile responsive hotel websites, and a functionality which can basically the hotel can acquire a guest through the mobile booking. I also understand that the 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 new generation of the travelers, we call it as the mobile travelers. I think the 75% plus mobile travelers complete their bookings via smartphones, and the last minutes bookings as well is happening largely from the smartphone. So in that sense, I would say, yeah, it can become a norm, but again, the pace when it can become a norm depends from region to region, and eventually, I think it will definitely happen globally, where everything happens from the smartphone itself, be it direct or be it from the OTA. I think even from the OTA, largely, as I said, the bookings are happening through the mobile apps or the smartphone itself. And as the recommendations to the hotel, I will surely very much recommend who wants to balance out their strategies. Yes, they should look out I think for a chain of hotels, having their own app makes sense. At the same time, for smaller independent hotels, also to have at least a website with the functionality, ensuring that it is a mobile responsive and the functionality which can allow the user to directly book from the website, mobile website. Yes, Winnie, that's from my side.
Awesome. I go to give an opinion there. Talking about America, for example, what do we see is, for example, all campaigns that you run through social media, doesn't matter if that's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, or what we saw is we have like 93% of the persons accessing the hotel sites when we're talking about direct sales. Okay, guys, we see that 93% of the persons go directly to the mobile. But one thing that is very interesting is that 93% of the persons do not convert. They check it up on the cell phone and then they go to the computer. So we are having like 70% of persons in America, 93% looking at the cell phone, but only 70% going to the computer and 30% buying directly. This will change, of course, and if we look for the new generations coming through, they will go everything through this. And I don't will start again as I did yesterday with the super apps. If not, I'm gonna miss up the entire forum over here right now. Somebody else want to provide an insight? Miss Taylor, James, Murtuza, please.
Vidya, I think some of that where we find that they're converting onto computers rather than mobiles is that there's still a lot of very poor booking experiences on mobiles. So we're talking about technology. You really need to look at the various technology solutions, because a good booking experience on a mobile app will convert, and particularly in Asia. In Asia, we have very high conversion rates coming through on mobile. I would say much more so than in the US.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I think there's two streams there. You got the direct or the indirect. So the OTA versus obviously your direct experience through your mobile. And without actually knowing the figures, I guess I'd say in my mind, obviously the OTAs are just a little bit further ahead in terms of that mobile experience right through to completion. We know that a lot of the dreaming phase will happen on mobile. Back in the day when we used to be on trains, we'd just be sitting there going, oh, what should I do this weekend? And I'm searching through my phone. And then maybe when I get home, I'm going to have a chat to the family, and maybe we'll book something. But those conversations are now obviously moving to the phone. You can actually then now with the latest sort of OSs that are coming out on mobile, you have picture in picture, so you can have that open. You could be talking to your family on your phone. You could be having that group conversation, and you say, fine, I'll book it. So it's not just the technology we're putting in, but everything that's coming around it, which is enabling those things to happen faster. I think with the mobile, the one thing that obviously makes it very easy through the online, also through an OTA stream, is the payment piece. Especially if you're registered, they've got your details. It's like buying on Amazon, one click collect. It's in the basket and it's done. When we're talking about the direct, we need to make it as easy as possible to convert all the way through the payment process. And certainly in Europe, that's becoming more and more apparent with some of the regulations that are coming out in the near future around collecting of payments and so on. But we're not talking about payments today. So I think that that having the ability to take Apple Pay, Google Pay, WePay, and everything through your own website to make sure that you're actually taking that conversion all the way to the end is pretty critical.
And also the environment, of course. Most of the hotels that we see we see a lot of hotels. They can be they can adapt themselves, the websites for the mobile, but maybe their own direct website is not easier for the client find what they want. So another tip I would like to share with all the hoteliers that would listen to us: please try to use pictures. So if somebody goes to the website, even your mobile, save them. If you have a promotion for the weekend, if you have a last minute, you need to show that and make easy with a little button, say reservation, and then they go directly to your booking engine. And concerning payments, for example, everybody here has on all the technologies here. I know them. I know very well Amadeus. I come from TravelClick. I used to work there. I know very well SendMinder. I know very well Easy. So all of you and us also, we have the possibility to, with Google, a Google account or a Facebook account, register yourselves, be a part of that chain of that hotel, and get as a genius as booking at the same time. But the most important thing for a client when they access, it's your website, because if they access for the mobile and your website is not focused on sales, you lose it and they go to the OTA. That's the main point.
Look, so how many websites do you go to when once you start going in and having a look, you actually can't find the book now button? You can't find how to make a reservation, but particularly on a mobile. So it really needs to be front and center, that call to action.
Correctly. Thank you very much for the insights.
I think the same. I think from my perspective, what I think is that the conversion rate we discussed, saying that there are 93% who looks at the mobile but does the booking on the website. I think there is a bit of a culture involved there where people like to use the credit card system, especially to be used on the website, especially. because they feel comfortable to type in the numbers to make sure that the errors are not there, the payment doesn't get an issue. So I think a lot of people, I personally have done that in the past, wherein I would like to see something on a mobile, but I would like to go out and do the booking of that thing on a website, because I need to make sure that I don't make that error when I'm doing the payment. And I'm not quite confident when I do the payment on the mobile, is it secured? But I think the things are getting evolved slowly, and the people are getting adapt to, the payment systems on the mobile as well. As James just mentioned that, you have option wherein you go ahead and use the WeChat as an option, PayPal as an option. So I think the more convenient payment methods on the mobile apps gives a very good comfort zone for the customers to go ahead and convert your actual sales into, confirm the bookings actually.
Awesome. Thank you very much for all the insights for all of you. Neha, it's your turn, my dear.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you. So the next question on this panel is for Maria. So Maria, given your vast experience in the industry, so we have like a two-part question for you, because I want to, draw in as much knowledge from you that you have gathered over the years. So here's your question. What should hotels be focusing on to drive online sales? So this is part one. I'll repeat that. What should hotels be focusing on to drive online sales? And the second part, of course, is how important is it for a hotel to have first-party data as part of a direct marketing strategy? So here, of course, it is more around the, the data for the guests. So how important is it for a hotel to have first-party data as part of a direct marketing strategy? So please.
Okay, so thanks, Neha. So first-party data, that's really referring to you having your own database, so having your own CRM. And as we move forward over the next few years, it's actually going to become more and more important. As Google moves away from using cookies, and they've announced that, we're still waiting to hear exactly what that will entail. Your first-party data can really help you. My frustration often in the industry is that hotels build a website and sit there and really build the website, and it's like something out of Field of Dreams. Build it and they will come. Okay, and you can't do that. It's like in the old days you would produce a hotel brochure. You actually had to take it out and you had to mail it to people for them to know about it. And the hotel's website's very much the same. You need to have marketing activities that drive traffic to your website. You need to use your first-party data or your CRM or your database platform to be able to identify people coming to your website that are either new users or people that you need to personalize that experience. And if you're not doing all that, then you really will find that most of your business will come through third-party channels, because they will be doing that. They will be marketing. They will be taking the people who look for your hotel in as simple as a thing like a search on Google, and they will take that and take it to the OTA. So really having a solid understanding that it's not just build a website. You have to do marketing activities to drive traffic to that website. And then you have to have interesting offers and promotions. But that's not putting 10 or 15 packages up that everybody is going to see. I think your marketing 101 tells you that you should have maximum of 3 to 4 offers. So make sure that you can offer something different to somebody who's looking for 2 people. So if they put into your booking engine that there's 2 people, then maybe you show romance packages or couples initiatives. If they add in kids, well then don't show a romance package. Who wants to have a romantic weekend with kids? You show a family package. So you've got to have ways of being able to personalize to the people who know you, but also the people you don't know just by the information they give you when they're on the website.
Yeah, so I think also loyalty programs would play a big part here, right? So like, with the different segmentation and targeting.
Yeah, so look, as an independent hotel or a small chain, a loyalty program as such is a big investment. But you don't need to have a loyalty program like a points redemption program. That's great for a chain and maybe very big hotels that frequent business travelers might look at it. But a program where you can recognise your customers, you can give them different booking options, different rates, different room type allocations, where you can recognise what they want and then give that to them when they come to the website, so it's more personalised. Loyalty is not all about points. It's about understanding the guest, understanding what the guest likes and needs, and making sure you do that and give it back to them as easily as possible. And I think I like to use Amazon as an example for that. You go to Amazon and they suggest what you want. We should be doing that in the hotel industry.
So the most important thing, as Miss Maria Taylor told us, is about strategy. We need to understand the guests and also understand what kind of hotel we have, because we can have a corporate, we can have a leisure, we can have a leisure and corporate, we can be a resort. And the most important thing, and that all information that Miss Taylor is referring about, you have it on your PMS. So if you just check your insights, you can check what kind of customers go for the standard room, what kind of customers goes for the middle room, middle scale, and what kind of customer go for the higher prices on the higher rooms they have. So I can build strategies to make a conversion for those kind of clients. I think this is one of the most important thing, and work on a strategy. And when I spoke about strategy on distribution, for example, of course we use the standard rate for everybody, but maybe promotions and package, you can use different packages at your website and different packages on different OTAs. You cannot be always the same and do a flat strategy. If you use a flat strategy, yes.
Yeah, to different markets as well. Yeah, not all countries have the same ability to be able to pay. Yeah. Right now, of course, in Asia, we're all domestic markets, so
the strategy will be totally
right now. But you look ahead. You might want to do a price promotion to somebody in. I'm Australian living in Singapore for the last 13 years, but you might want to do a promotion from Asia into Australia, but you want to do it in AUD if you're doing a price promotion. Otherwise, it changes from $200 to $197.66 to $203.25, depending on the currency conversion.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Ms. Taylor. James Murtuza,
Winnie, I can just add to it.
Yes, you can, of course.
Yeah.
Take your time.
Thanks. So I completely second with the thoughts of Ms. Maria in terms of driving traffic to the website. But in my perspective, even in today's, if we talk about the segment in the hotel industry, the small and medium sized independent hotels, even the first step, which requires to have a digital presence, having their own hotel brand website, is something where lot have to work to do. Especially if we talk about the markets like, if we exclude US, if we exclude Europe, but in part of the Apac, for example, the hotels business owners need to take the first step into at least have their website, and the technology companies like Easy, like SiteMinder, and there are many more who are having the platforms. And I think that is where the first step to be taken. And of course, followed by what Ms. Maria said, that further strategies to drive the traffic. I think that would be the definite steps. Yes, Vinny, that's what I wanted to add on it. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Could I just add to that? And I think, there's two aspects there, and obviously, Maria's absolutely right around you can't just throw a website up there and expect everyone to come. But I think in terms of how you market your website, I don't think that just trying to go head to head on Google AdWord marketing with the OTAs is the right strategy for the majority of hoteliers, certainly the smaller independent hoteliers. But actually using the data that they have, using those guests that they already see in the hotel, make sure they're driving them back through social, and they're using those social campaigns to drive the awareness of their property and kind of building that community of guests around them, and building their brand within their guests is one of the key strategies that that I see work out well for hotels. And again, on the loyalty piece that Vinny mentioned, again, independent hotels can't set up a loyalty package, but they need to look at instant gratification as opposed to loyalty. So, someone's coming to the website and they're there, pop them up a code that they can get instant discount or value add from booking right now using this code. Is a lot cheaper, and it will go a lot further, and you can track that a lot easier in terms of from a success measures to be able to create similar campaigns in the future.
Awesome, great. So we go to the next question. It's myself, I think. Yes, Tika, it's my turn. Yeah, I speak too much sometimes. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, let's move forward here. Mr. Murtuza, the question is to you. How technology takes part in shaping the trends? So I repeat the questions. How technologies take part in shaping the trends?
Okay. So I'm just going to give, thank you, Vinny, for the question. So I would like to give a bit of a background about where it all started. So it's going. I just did some research, and it looks like the technology boosted to support the travel industry around 2006 when the big data boom was started. In that consequences, I think together the 4G, then internet popularization, cloud computing emerged. And so once the cloud computer got emerged, what happened was the new programming languages also came into play, which enable a lot of SaaS-based tech companies to appear. And it also evolved from instead of using the traditional on-premise servers, they helped them to move to the cloud, which was very cost effective. And in return, when the SaaS-based technology companies evolved, we had a better UI solutions for the hospitality industry. Then soon what happened was that there was, ability to adapt to big data, and it became too overwhelming. So around 90% of all this data is created around the last 2 years. And this created a rapid, I would say, rapid growth towards artificial intelligence. And that is applied now in every single company dealing with real big data. So today, the intelligent big data helps overcomes many problems caused by actually too much of data or holes in the data, to identify the gaps in the data, or also to identify the changing trends, like something which is caused now by the pandemic, which is COVID-19. So within this such technology evolution, what we have noticed is that there are new capabilities being given to the hoteliers, better customer reach in terms of the distribution. So the artificial intelligence is now getting smarter and smarter. The distribution is getting smarter. Maria just mentioned about how to use the marketing strategy towards who is coming in, and check on that. Then you have a better customer experience. We just spoke about the mobile app, where the people are getting used to it. More effective marketing in terms of targeting advertisements using the Google Ads, the Facebook, the LinkedIn. And now even that has evolved into a better revenue management techniques, and that is like better systems in terms of the RMS and the price shoppers. I think in the future we will observe further establishments of the cloud computing, big data, and artificial intelligence. I think that's going to be the trend actually. A few months ago, on a conference, I heard that artificial intelligence is a buzzword actually, but I think now that we need to adapt quicker to the technology that surrounds us to make the best use of it actually. So I think the trends are going to be like the big cloud, big data, and artificial intelligence actually.
I totally agree with what you said. Totally. I totally agree. And hoteliers need to understand, even if they are small, they need to use all the tools they have for the distribution and marketing to get their customers directly. Because even if we start looking at, we have prices in different times and different hours, maybe it's impossible compete against Booking, Expedia, because they put a lot of money on Google Ads or in Google Hotel Ads. However, Google Hotel Ads is a good option to have your hotel with the best price. And also, if you're using AdWords, you can try to use it in those hours that you have lower request and appear and catch up those clients that is trying to search your destination in the lower times when the prices for the click is minimum. It's just a tip. Somebody else want to give an insight about it? Please go ahead. If not, we go start with the second round of the questions. We have a lot of questions for the public.
Maybe if I could just add something with Matilda, with AI. You know, the potential is so big, but even in just such simple things, you know, we're using AI on our CRM system just to determine the optimal times to send emails to people. You know, you have marketers all the time arguing like you should send at 10 o'clock on a Tuesday, and like their databases are global. And like I might use my personal email and I might look at that at 7 o'clock at night. You might look at it at 6 o'clock in the morning. And so just using AI to understand what time your database normally opens their emails. And you know, when a hotel sends out their email campaign, you know, Vincius, it goes to you at 3 o'clock in your afternoon because that's when you look at your emails. And James, it goes to you at 10 o'clock at night when you're sitting there with the wine. You know, very simple uses that AI to really complex uses.
Awesome insight. I didn't think about that.
Very
Thank
true.
you.
Yep.
I just learning something new. Thank you very much. Your time, Neha.
So because we have been talking data, starting from guest data to now the AI, I think the next question again, we'll focus on, you know, data. So I've actually, you know, while you guys were talking, I've come up with something. We all keep saying that, you know, customer is the king, whichever industry you are in, whether you're a hotel or you're a tech company or any industry for that matter. So I've just coined something. I don't know, it could be completely bizarre, but with this group, I feel comfortable sharing. So customer is the king. I think data is the crown. So unless you get your data right, you can't really make your customer feel like a king. So how's that? Should I copyright that?
Yes, sure.
Which Peter? For sure.
So
Sorry?
the next question is
I just
Some company also need to work how we can simplify the reading of this data. So data is surely a crown, but I think reading and using it also is one of the biggest thing which we need to work upon.
I think Murtaza is trying to do that. I mean, I'm guessing that
Yeah,
by the
yeah,
name of his
exactly.
company that they are into it. So, okay, so moving on to the next question. I'm conscious I'm taking away some precious time. So next question is for James from SiteMinder. So James, my question for you is, COVID has appended so much of what we've been speaking about at various events over the years. So what, according to you, are the biggest trends that, you know, SiteMinder is seeing through the data that you guys are mining? Like, you know, all the tech companies, we are sitting on a lot of data, and we of course are looking at, you know, historical data versus current trends, and we are all coming up with analysis. So what, according to you, are the biggest trends that SiteMinder is seeing through its data, and how should hoteliers be thinking about their own data going forward? So
Thanks.
your opinion,
Yeah.
please.
Absolutely, and look, I think everybody within the industry and various industries are looking at their own data and you know, in many cases publishing this, and we've done the same through World Hotel Index. So actually, you can go to our website and view our historical data over this year, but they're all kind of the same shape, right? We were up here in the beginning of the year, then we were down here, and we've slowly climbed back up to here, and this is where it's pretty stagnant because, you know. And the data is suggesting, obviously, that the demand has just hit a level by each market, depending on what they're doing. So, you know, the demand is now just made up of, you know, your domestic leisure travel and some domestic business travel, but we're seeing very little sort of international business travel and the MICE travel that would be bringing in business for events and conferences and so on and so forth. So. The occupancy in many cases is sitting between sort of 40 and 60%, and we're not seeing that incline again. And I think hoteliers need to be looking at their data in a very similar way and comparing it to the kind of aggregated data that's available in the industry at the moment. But that's really looking at like what's happened, what's historical. I think where hoteliers or anyone can get an advantage is looking at the future data that they have, and we're seeing now, and it kind of aligns with what's going on with how hotel rooms are being sold, either through direct, online travel agents, tour operators. Obviously, they're much larger companies. So the larger the company, the more customers, the more data they have, and the more they can look at it. And in many cases, the more data scientists they have. But what we're seeing now is the trend now is obviously we're seeing a lot more of an uptick and increase in reservations around that sort of winter festive period through the end of December, through those Christmas holidays and so on, where people are now actually building confidence to book through that period. But alongside that, these are flexible rates, right? Nobody's putting their money on the table straight away. And these are the sort of feedback from the hotels data that they need to be looking at every day. Not just, okay, yesterday I got 100 reservations. How many of those were on a flexible rate versus a non-refundable? But actually mapping that into the future dates to kind of gauge consumer confidence in their product. We're also seeing now tour operators are really pushing summer 2021. They're kind of given up on what's left of this year. They're like, okay, they're discounting and they're packaging that with, say, cancellation guarantees or insurance. So, you can book now, we're going to give you a cheap rate. And hey, if the world goes tits up still this time next year, you're not going to be losing your money. And, these guys, be it OTAs, tour operators, they are experts at selling and at selling hotel rooms and understanding the data. So it's kind of a trend that hoteliers need to be leaning on to have a look at their historical and future data and see how they can maximize sort of their own sales, their own direct sales through that. So obviously, we're seeing a lot more of that domestic travel combined with many those reservations that are happening this year. We have a much shorter lead time, so the decision-making process is being left a lot later to making that bookings, like a huge number of bookings happening in the next 2 weeks, and then you've got those peaks at the end of the year, and then coming into summer sort of next year as well.
James,
so go on.
are you seeing peaks in APAC at the end of the year? Because in all our forward data, we just don't see peaks in December, January yet.
You haven't seen? Okay. So granted, I might not look down to each country level on those particular ones, but feel free to take a look at the hotel index, and you'll see exactly we can do that by country and historical dates as well. But we're certainly seeing it.
I can tell you for some of the countries. Sorry, for some of the countries that we have observed, especially Malaysia, I mean, I could not stop myself. We've been talking to some customers there. They're actually running full house over weekends starting Friday. So I don't know what they are doing differently, but apparently Malaysia is like recovering very well. I mean, much better than pre-COVID levels. So
yeah, on their short lead business. So the leisure destinations, I mean, KL is still running 10-15%. But the leisure destinations are doing. That's all over APAC.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen that peak in Australia as I'm looking at it at the moment.
South America for leisure, and talking about Brazil is the only country that opened up everything, and we have Colombia last 2 weeks that opened up. But Brazil, it's open for the last 1 month and a half or 2 months. All leisure explodes. It's like it's a boom. You have like 70%, 80% occupation for the weekends, and but the corporate don't goes up more than 22-25%. And this will happen, I think, all over the world for the next month. Still, we have a vaccine or something like that. But leisure is leisure is starting it. Yeah. If we don't have a block out again, we just lockdown. I just hope we stop about the lockdowns. It's too stressful. It's really stressful.
And
look, keep saying unlock.
Based on feedback I've had, we've had this kind of COVID recovery conversation many times, and it wasn't. I didn't really want to bring this whole topic into that, but when we talk about looking at data and what trends we're seeing, you can't help but link back to obviously the current pandemic situation that we're in. But other ways that hotels should be using their data is they shouldn't be thinking about just distributing their availability rates and inventory, but what can they actually do with the guest data that they do have, and how can they better utilize that guest data? Like, what should they be doing with that? I mean, there's the opportunity to plug that into an upsell package, or to plug that into tours and activities, or to plug that into that guest data. Is it going to be of use to a revenue management system to see every future reservation that they're going to come in, and how can they better predict their rates from that data? So, when you look at distribution, people think about availability rates and inventory, but actually, we need to do a much better job with making sure we're actually distributing that data, or hotels are looking at the wider use of that data and how they can implement that to make better decisions and effectively increase their RevPAR or ADR in this case. Like, with minimal amount of reservations, there's quite a lot of competitiveness in the market. So obviously there's a lot of rate intelligence that hotels should be looking at to understand where their competitors are pricing. And we're obviously, we said very early on that it's going to take an extra 2 or 3 years to recover your average daily rate than it will your occupancy. So try and keep your rates where they are and don't drop the value of it. But of course, that as soon as that starts happening in the market, everyone will kind of follow. So you need to then look at how you increase that average daily rate by using your data well from an upsell perspective.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We're going to start with the second round of questions. We have half an hour more, so maybe we accelerate a little bit to stay in the schedule time. And like this, we have 15 minutes to answer because we have a lot of questions from the public right now. I can see it's even more we speak, more questions we have. That is a good thing. That is a good thing. So let's start with the second round. Second round of questions. So Neha, it's your turn to start. Please, my dear.
Sure. So let's start round 2 with Murtaza then. Murtaza, your second question for today's session is, what will be the biggest game changer in the tech? Yeah, okay, it's a different question. Yeah. What will be the biggest game changer in technology trends?
Thank you, Neha. I think we spoke a lot about data. So I think I'll just start by saying that I think we are all realizing that we are already in an AI-driven world where data is too big to be handled by traditional tools and algorithms. When we realize that the world is reshaping to new reality trends and the behaviors, we will see that the technology will no longer be about delivering a lot of data, but helping us pick the right small data, which can be then actually utilized. As Ijaz just mentioned it in the previous thing, it's all about you picking the right data and making it actionable. So according to me, I think the biggest changer will not be in hardware. Although the quantum computers, IoT or 5G is right around the corner, I think the biggest game changer will be in human approach to how to utilize the effects of technology. I think that would be the major game changer here. Many of our tech customers are aware of that, and what they are doing is like they are reinventing their products because of this COVID situation. They have had this long gap where they are making their product more intuitive, to become more specific, to be more effective with the data, and become now actionable with the data. I think COVID-19 has pushed many in the industry to start utilizing better data and technology that we are already delivering actually. So I think the biggest game changer will be how we as humans in the travel industry will adapt to the technology actually.
Awesome.
Great.
Somebody has some insight to set it up, or you follow the next question? Okay, I go to the next question then. Just 1 second. Okay, now Miss Taylor, we go with you. So what features are important to have in your technology stack to drive direct business? And a second question, with COVID-19 and lower occupancies, should hotels still be following a direct booking strategy or move to an omni-channel approach? So we have two questions there. We start with the one you prefer.
Look, I think if we were sitting here this time last year, you know, any hotelier would be talking to about a direct strategy. Yeah, and you know, I think the reality of the world is that, you know, really as a hotelier, you want to be getting your business in via any channels. We're seeing a marked increase when you compare percentage of business from brand.com to OTAs. Okay, and so when you first look at that data, you go, oh wow, hoteliers are doing it much better now in driving their brand.com. But when you dig in the data a little bit further, you know, what it is that brand.com always performs well for your domestic market. Okay, and so now all your business is domestic market. So sort of naturally that balance is going to change. Yeah, as an independent hotel or a small group, it's you don't have the marketing budget to be able to have global reach. So I think hoteliers need to look at the whole distribution platform and determine, you know, which markets they will go after directly. Okay, obviously return guests using the data, all that, you can still go after those. But for acquisition of new customers, yeah, smaller hotels can't acquire new customers on the other side of the world. So that's where the OTAs or the GDS channels or the travel agency business, that they need to work those partnerships. And again, it's like a website. It's not just load a rate and they will come. You know, it's doing the right sales and marketing activities out to this whole partner base. And I think James, you know, said it before, you know, partnerships are important no matter what part of the business we're in hospitality. So I think having too focused a direct marketing approach right now is probably not the right time, and it is to focus more broadly. But whilst we're in domestic markets, which in Asia, everyone's domestic markets because there's no borders open in any of our customers, you can follow a direct approach. But when the borders start to open, I do think you need to have a more omni-channel marketing.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your insights. James, Murtuza, Ijas, Neha, someone, please, want you to tell something about, some insight more, please. It's your turn.
Well, I can't disagree with any of that, and I wouldn't. I think absolutely the direct channel is something I've been saying internally as well. Is very much for the domestic market, is very strong for independent hotels. So it's actually a point of time where they can worry less about that, because it's, you know, it isn't a problem piece right now, but actually look at broadening their other distribution channels from a more of an, they need to understand which channels are actually driving the business that is coming today. So who is actually driving more of the domestic marketing, and I'm, you know, far from ignoring the likes of Booking and Expedia. They are going to, you know, depending on your market, they are good at driving domestic travel to your hotel. So, you know, that's a case of optimization there, but actually understanding those smaller niche channels, which are, you know, we've seen some quite surprising data from different regions where, you know, suddenly a channel's performing just as well as they did this time last year. So really trying to understand exactly why that is and how they can do better for other hotels. It's yeah, it's an interesting period.
Yeah, it's interesting, crazy. It's we can say a lot of adjectives. So
I think dynamic is the word.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So what we saw, what we recommend, for example, for different locations, we saw maybe they start like in a fighting war in rates. In Mexico, not talking about Asia, but in Mexico, for example, we saw hotels 5 stars with rates for $29. That was normally a 2 stars hotel. So you said, come on, what are you doing, guys? If you do that, you lose the market that used to go to your hotel, and that will change. And then coming back from those rates and go up again is very difficult. It's very difficult. Sometimes it's better you reduce or reduce the rooms you want to sell, or close the hotel if you're in the lockdown. Wait a little bit and open up, but don't do that. Don't do that. For all hoteliers, don't start doing a fight war on rates. That is not good for the market. It's not good for you guys at the end. We are technology. You're going to use our tools to do that, but don't do it. It's not a good thing. This is my opinion only. So, Neha,
I just want to add for a second on that.
Of course.
I think very correctly said. In my opinion as well, the market right now is not the price sensitive or right, but it is more about safety and hygiene sensitive. So rather than just reducing the prices, if the other part of the thing which can be taken care, how you are communicating with your guest about hygiene and safety would make much more sense from my perspective. Thank you.
Yes, for sure. I totally agree with you.
But there's a balance. And I'm sure you've all seen the hotels that have done marketing campaigns where it looks like a hospital. And
that is not good enough.
Leisure travel is what's there. It doesn't entice you to stay. So there's a balance. You've got to remember, people are still wanting to stay in a hotel. They're wanting the experience. It's almost about having like a stamp on your marketing that says, okay, we take hygiene seriously, we take social distancing seriously, but don't put out ads that make you look like a hospital.
Yeah, that's true. I saw the hotel doing marketing that you saw like, okay, I'm going to the hospital, and everybody's like, it's a pandemic, but you see, I will go there because everybody's maxed. They have exclusive clothes for that. No, you're totally right.
Look, we saw quite a 5-star chain with photos of people with the masks and the protective gear, and it's like, oh, I don't really want to go there.
Yeah, maybe use the mask. Don't put the gear in every seat, because maybe it's like, okay, I don't have an experience. Maybe I go to the hotel, I cannot use in the swimming pool. So it's like I just make a joke here very fast. It's like the virus movie for 2002, 2003, where everybody has those masks. So don't do that. Don't do that. It's not a good marketing at the end. We are not a hospital. Okay, hospitality come from the hospital, and the 1,500 were the bubonic beast. But we convert hospitality to the hospitals, and that time. Right now, we don't need to do that, guys. Thank you, Mr. Taylor, for insight. Very clever. Thank you, all of you. Neha, it's your turn. Please move ahead.
Yes, so we have James up next. James, your second question for today is, with the industry being reset this year, do hotels still need a full tech stack? I'll repeat, with the industry being reset this year, do you think hotels still need a full tech stack?
Okay. Thanks, Nia. I think, with the limited time we got, we can't really define what a full tech stack is for every different type of hotel. I think now, but a short answer would be yes. It isn't the time to be reducing your technology that's helping you guys to drive reservations or drive revenue, but it's actually a good time to have a look and understand through either your existing providers or other providers out there, what can you do? But it's not a case of, you have to understand what your problem is before you go out there and start looking at your tech stack. So understand what your problem statements are before you have a look at technology actually trying to fix that. So is it a case of that I want to drive more guests? That's my problem, or I want a higher revenue per room that I sold. That's another problem. Could be a completely different tech stack or part of the tech stack that's going to solve that. You're not going to find a single solution that's going to give 100% on each of your problems. So which is the most important to you? But it certainly isn't a time to be reducing your tech stack, but certainly a good time to be having a look and making sure that the providers you're working with are able to integrate with the with applications that are going to enhance your tech stack. That's certainly for sure. So yeah, the things that I've seen working very well through our own platform recently, people are looking at contactless experiences. So through the SiteMinder Hotel App Store, we have various different categories of applications, and what we see being searched, what we see being bought and plugged into their channel manager or into their PMS through the Hotel App Store is, we've seen a lot of the contactless experience stuff, a lot of the upsell, applications like that are going to take that reservation data for guests that have just booked and put them into an upsell marketing flow and give you additional revenue on each of those reservations. Or from the contact list, though, they're collecting guest data prior to the guest arriving and then presenting it back to the hotel. So removing the need for hotels to come to the front desk. So really removing the need for the full-on face shield and everything from your receptionist, because you're giving the guest a different route. It's just another way to not hospitalize your customers when they turn up. So yeah, I think it's a very good period. I think I'm conscious that from a hotelier perspective, investment right now is probably not number one on their mind, like, oh, let's go out and buy a new PMS or something, and that's certainly not what I would recommend. It's having a look at your existing platforms and how can you enhance them, like what options have you got to plug in and create a better experience. You don't want to be putting a lot of capex into it right now, but if you can prove a return from spending 80, 100 bucks a month on certain applications that are paying you back 500, 600, 700 or 1,000 bucks a month in a relatively short period, which is realistically how all of these guys are marketing themselves, then make sure you have the flexibility to do that.
Awesome.
Absolutely. And I think I'll just want to make a point here. So what you've mentioned, and the fact that, all the different systems that a hotel is using should be speaking to each other, like, a seamless flow of data going through the different systems. That is so much more important, and possibly hotels could be using this time to make sure that, all their different systems, whether it's a PMS or the channel manager or the RMS or, any system for that matter, is like talking to each other and making sure that whoever is looking at that data from a whether it's a budget pace or whatever analysis the hotelier is doing, so they have like a bird's eye view looking at that integrated system or the dashboard, whatever you can call it. So yeah,
absolutely. And I think that historically hoteliers have probably thought that quite rightly in many cases that this level of integration for the independent hotel, or this level of application that they can use, is beyond them. This is for the chains and those large corporate hotels that have got huge amounts of money to spend on this, but it's just not the case anymore, right? It's very scalable technology, because the way that technology moves and the cost to actually create this technology is reduced, and technology companies work tirelessly on making the cost of implementation less and the cost of support from their end less, that we can actually drive a lower cost to the customer, and it's benefiting the whole industry as a whole.
Of course, yeah.
I think I think from my perspective, what James, I completely agree with you, but I think what is really important is to know exactly what is the situation and how quickly we can adapt towards its using the technology. And I personally think for this, I think the key driver is the right data. So you need to, when Neha said that has to be a seamless flow between the PMSs to the channel managers to the revenue management system. I think it's very crucial we have the right set of the data on your competitors' prices, on your own prices, your inventory, occupancy, on the event side, to check on the demands, and also the important on the customer side data. So if we can have this right set of data, which you have it on your side of the system, I think you can use this data to go ahead and take it at fair advantage and drive the marketing campaigns according to that, to go ahead and do the upsells and everything what James was mentioning actually.
Absolutely.
Yes, Neha, if I can add few things on it.
Sure, you can.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks. So I think as far as the full tax solution is concerned, how hotels would look into, in my opinion, when the pandemic started, right? I think all the hospitality business went into the thinking thought process of how to survive the business. I think that phase is over now, where the most of the business owners have decided how they are going to survive, what are the strategies to be put in. But now it is about how to again revive. And I think the occupancies and the business are at that level where it gives us a lot of time for the business owners to reevaluate their tools and technology right now. And as James rightly mentioned, they really need to figure it out what problems they want to solve. And I think this is the time where they can spend to bring out as much as technology to their businesses for the more efficiency into their operation. So I think, is it they need to go full stack or not? I think it all depends on a hotel to hotel, what problems they want to sell, what the things to pick up. But timing, in my opinion, is the right. If they are in the business, they are in the continue of the business. I think this is the time, lot of in the hand. I think this is the time they need to make their evaluation and go for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we all are on the same page where we assume I think the recovery is going to happen. Travel is going to come to the level, right? And think in a long run, right? It's just a matter of 6 months, 9 months, 1 year or 2 year, right? And for a full recovery. But this is the time I think we need to, as a business, need to get prepared for it.
yeah.
Thank you.
I don't think all hotels have got line of sight yet on that on their own business recovery, but certainly those that are in, because things change very quickly. Like we talk about second wave and countries potentially going back into a lockdown scenario, which everybody kind of wants to avoid. But there is it's very difficult to predict your business if in that environment. But certainly where you have confidence for the next 6 to 9 months is a really good time to be looking at the opportunity that technology provides.
Yeah, and look, if I can just add, one of the things we've really noticed, actually all around the world, is that in the medium, small to medium groups and to large groups, over the last couple of years, there had started to be a real desire to develop things themselves, create in-house IT departments, put a lot of money into developing their own systems. And COVID has fundamentally changed that. We're now, don't want that many resources internally and are now looking to go back to using market vendors. So I think that's been a fundamental change that's happened because of COVID in the tech space.
For sure. So we go to the last question, and then we have like 5, 6 questions for the public. So I go to Zayas. The last question is for you. I think we touched base with a lot of this, but now it's your own. What do you think will be the tech and online marketing trends enforced by this pandemic? I'll repeat the question. What do you think will be the tech and online marketing trends enforced by this pandemic?
Thanks, Winnie. So I think in terms of the technology enforcement through the pandemic, I would say in the 2 parts. One, if you look at the guest journey, right, from the booking and once they arrive for the stay experience until the checkout. So as James mentioned, huge amount of interest is there in terms of how the hotels can generate a contactless experience, right? So that is more about their stay and up until the checkout on arrival and things like that. So hotel technology is I think, significant role in terms of being a contactless. Once the guests arrive, really don't need to go and touch on the reception, signing those registration cards, how those can be techfully handled, right? Similarly, upon the checkout, how the digital payments can be made, and those experience can be handled digitally. Even in the F&B part, the contactless dining, I think that is what we see a lot interest in our existing customer base and globally. So that is more on the operation front side. If I look at the marketing, what will be the trend in a very short period of time? Though we talked about this already, I would say that the few very important, of course, there are so many strategies, but if I have to pull out, one of it is very important is about the cancellation policies. How much flexible your policies are in terms of the bookings, right? Refundable programs, last minute cancellations, modifications of changing the schedules and dates. I think the most of the bookings, things are very vulnerable right now. I think where a lot of unlock has happened, at the same time, new outbreaks has also came out. And again, the many countries, many places have gone to the lockdown situation again as well. And so the booker is actually looking for full flexibility. And I think that is one of the very important immediate strategy for a hotel to adopt for. Second part is again very important is the guest communication in terms of the safety measures which they're taking. Of course, not doing the over marketing to make it a hospital as we spoke earlier, but I think right balance is very, very important. If this is the part about how as a hotel business you are responding to the COVID-19 is very important, right? At the same time, the guests, when they arrive at the hotel, they should not get the feeling of what Maria pointed out, right? So I think the right balance can really give the confidence for the booker to book a room, because this is something, one of the important aspects for a traveler, right? And the third thing which I feel in a short and medium term, when majority of the international borders are not opening, local travel and domestic travel is very, very much important in your strategy. So every hotels need to look out for how to attract the local, right, domestic tourism. As I think Neha also mentioned about the Malaysia, we also have our own branch office in Malaysia, one of our largest customer base. And when we look at the Malaysia hotel database, I think it's very true, whatever the way they have handled this pandemic. But I think in terms of domestic tourism, maybe it is for a short term to medium term, but the demand has picked up a lot, and they are enjoying a good, really good occupancy over there. So in general, I would suggest for a hotel to put up something on the as a important strategy for to bring in the domestic guest. So in all these three, of course, there may be many more things, but I think these are the three most important aspects which a hotel can focus upon. Thank you,
Awesome.
Vinny.
You're welcome. Somebody else want to say something, Mrs. Taylor?
No, I mean, look, clearly domestic is where the market is right now. Yeah. But I would say, you know, hotels should really be keeping an eye in Asia on the border restrictions and make sure that they're keeping very up to date with what's happening. Even the green lanes can be bringing some business travel, so be aware of what's happening and be on top of that.
Awesome. So guys, I will go to the questions for the public that we have a few of them. Ms. Taylor, the first one goes to you directly. So we have Lata, maybe my pronunciation, I'm so sorry for the attendant, but it is Lata Kalai Selvan. He requests, Maria, what are GDS's optimization strategies? Does Amadeus have an online booking tool via mobile? Those are two questions directly to you.
Oh, I love your questions. Thank you very much. Yeah, yes, we do have an online booking tool, and GDS optimization. It's a lot more complex than people think. You know, it's about having the right rate ranking. It depends on the markets, but you know, it can also be about you can do GDS marketing there to get directly to the travel agents, and it's about having the right rates loaded within the GDS. So there's a lot you can do to optimize your GDS travel. And like, please reach out and I'll put you in touch with the right person that you can talk to understand how to optimize that. And yes, if you're interested in a booking engine on mobile, please contact me. But seriously, we have invested a lot of money over the last 4 years in really making a very solid mobile converting booking engine. And each time we start a new hotel on it, they find that their mobile bookings are going really strong.
Awesome. Thank you very much for your answer. We have another one. Yes, Neha, tell me.
Sorry. Just wanted to build upon this question. I'm just curious because I have such experts here. So GDS, we have been talking about online OTAs and direct booking so far. I'm guessing that this group of people would be able to give me some insights on how does GDS bookings currently look like for hotels, because I know they're mostly driven by corporates and travel operators. So any insights from any of you on how? Yep.
I can give you the data as of yesterday because I was just looking at some of the data.
Sure.
So China bookings are back to about 50% of where they were on GDS, which is really good.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, New Zealand's back to around 50% of the business booked via GDS, and Japan's back to around 30%. The rest of the markets in Asia, really are sitting sort of under 20% to last year, and that is because that business traveller. There's some exceptional markets in Australia, like Perth, and some of the regional areas in Australia where GDS business is actually quite strong, and that's for domestic, really related to mining and health and government business. So it's quite different market to market, but yes, certainly that we don't see strong recovery in the corporate segment yet.
I didn't expect.
Great.
I didn't expect that GDS is so powerful in Asia. If we compare for Latin America or South America to talking about it, the GDS is right now is in 5%, 3.5, depending on the region, but they don't have like a huge part of the market as Asia. Thank you very much. This is a good.
Yeah. In any of the capital cities, GDS makes up at least 20% of the business.
Oh, awesome. So let's go to the next question. It's for I will try the pronunciation. I'm so sorry, but I will try to do. The question comes from Awayan Eka Ginastra. Okay, he requests, provide that hotels are currently struggling in getting revenues and therefore saving costs in every area, including marketing expenses. What will it best do? One second, sorry. What will be the best to do if you increase your direct bookings with a very minimum marketing budget? It's very difficult to increase your direct booking with a very minimum marketing budget. But I let the other people. If you put, it's quite impossible. But okay. So James.
Yeah, James spoke to it earlier.
Yeah. Look, I mean, so there's a lot you can do with just your own time and a little bit of imagination. Obviously, you have a database of your existing customers. You can have a look and see. Well, ideally, if you have a PMS, there's so much you can do. Those customers that have traveled to me domestically historically, I can segment those and I can, if I have their contact details, if I have email, then use it. If you don't have a marketing tool, use a free one like MailChimp, and experiment with something along those lines to see, look, can I send these guys an email? Can I direct them to my direct channel, to my direct website? You have Facebook, you have Twitter, you have Instagram, which is becoming more and more. So you can tell stories through Instagram of what you guys are doing through this period, or how guests are enjoying your experience at this point. And it's all about marketing your brand through there. The other piece, if we're really talking, and this is not necessarily an upfront cost, so is to use the meta channels to drive transactions back to your own direct booking engine. So things like Google Hotel. If your provider is, yes, you're only paying for the reservations that have stayed. So you're not paying for anything where you don't know if you're going to get anything for it. So, us as a technology provider, if we're, helping you through Meta, you're only paying for reservations that have stayed. We're not asking you to put a budget up for those clicks. That's all managed for you. And there's a lot of providers that do that, whether it's your existing one or something else that's in the market. So, the social route is kind of something that takes time to build up over a period. So it's kind of build up that audience and start that. But obviously advertising through Meta is a little bit more of an instant win.
Awesome. Okay, I go to the next question. How important is rate parity? I want to answer my side. Look, rate parity, guys, it's important your standard rate. Then if you do package or discounts, the best strategy is look how much you're paying a percentage for OTAs and wholesalers. Based on that, you can do whatever you want concerning packages and offers. They cannot tell you that if you have an refundable booking 10% and somebody else comes and said, you need to give me the same rate because I will put you down. And if you do that, most of the algorithms or the OTAs, it's very simple. So if that happens, you just go put your price 40% up and give you 60% down. You're gonna appear in the first page. Or go there and set for your rooms, 100 rooms each, and you're gonna be at the search page. Rate parity is important for the standard rate, but then needs to be focused on the strategy. If somebody else have a different point of view, please.
I think I would like to add on that on the rate parity stuff. I think it's very important now for the hoteliers to know that, yeah, we have the rate parity stuff, which is there always. The pricing comes into play. I think the rate parity during the pandemic time, I think we need to go one step further into it, just not by looking at the rates alone. You decide the parity. I think now is the time when we start looking at the features, as Azaz was talking about things in terms of the marketing things, how contactless is working. I think in the yesterday's seminar, somebody was speaking about, contactless keys. I think these are the important stuff. I think when you look at the rate parity, just don't look at the prices alone. When you're doing the rate parity, I think it is very important to look at what your competitors are doing and where do you stand in terms of the features as well, especially during this pandemic time, actually.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We have another question here. We have 3 questions more and we will finish. I just maybe we extend 10 minutes more. So for the schedule, just let's go for the next question. With these online meetings going successful for many business, do you think post-COVID MICE will be affected? I will repeat this question. With these online meetings going successful for many business, do you think post-COVID MICE will be affected? Who wants to answer it?
No, look, there's a lot of opinion on that one. So mine's only really going to be personal. I can't wait to get back on a plane again. Be stuck in an airport lounge somewhere.
I'm so tired to be 6 months, about 7 months right now. I want to travel. I want to take an airplane and see people and try to, hey, hello, let's do business together, see face to face.
Absolutely. And I'm much the same, but of course there is that corporate element as well in terms of the the corporate travel policy. When are they going to allow from the larger corporations? When are they allowing their team to travel and start those things? And then from in terms of putting on big events with 1,000, 3,000, 5,000 people attending, I think we're probably quite a way off that, right? So yeah, the business that Vegas has seen over the years, in terms of if you looked at somewhere like that or Macau or similar, where you have that huge conference business, I think we're way off getting back to there. There is the middle ground. I think that's going to carry on happening. The smaller meetings which people are traveling for, I think there will probably be less of that face-to-face traveling for independent meetings, but I think that we're still going to, we're definitely going to see a MICE business coming back, probably, hopefully, second half of next year.
Thank you very much. I know Miss Taylor have another meeting right now. She needs to leave. I guess we have 2 questions more. If you can stay with me, Miss Taylor, if you need to leave, you can just say goodbye to everybody, and we count the view for the next, because we have Travel Tech, and then we're going to start Travel Tech Talks. Travel Tech Talks, we're going to have for Asia also, giving 2 people together and explain more and more, and then you can give more feedback about your tools. Please, if you need to leave, please just you got your minute to say goodbye for everybody.
Thank you very much, everyone. Great talking with you, and we'll see you again.
Thank you, Ms.
Maria.
Taylor.
See you again.
Thank you so much, Maria. Nice having you here. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much. Welcome. So guys, I go to the last 2 questions, okay? And then we finish. We have 2 more questions. We have from Roman Sitnik. What about the market demand and the RMS now not being correctly? Hotels are still closed, and the RMS recognized as a fully booked hotel. It's making now very hard to forecast. Any ideas in how to resolve this? Raman, first thing we need to know what kind of RMS you are using, because normally RMS cannot tell you the full booked hotels they're closed. Maybe something wrong, but I'm gonna let the other experts on the market maybe answer your questions.
So
Anybody?
I think that there has, yeah. So I mean, it is very difficult to forecast business when there isn't any business, and it really does depend on the state of that particular hotel, or when you're doing, from a RMS perspective, if you're shopping rates and using a competitive rate set to start setting, to impact what that rate is going to be. I just think there's so many elements in that, and I'd say, I like you, Vinny. I didn't get the piece in terms of the hotel being full or not. So I think I'd need more understanding on what platform we're looking at.
What is happening to the RMS?
Yeah.
The RMS, what they're looking for, because if the hotel business is closed, it's not full. It's a different side, and they can read that.
Exactly.
So guys, we go to the last question we have here is from Rico Francisco from Bali. He's requesting, do you think in the future government needs to sustain hotels development as currently resorts islands like Bali and Phuket, for example, are oversupply? Do you think that the future government is the same question? You just repeated it 2 times. It's not by region, so somebody needs to answer this. It's not. I'm not based in Asia yet.
Yeah, Vinny, I would like to speak on that. So I think every government in a different part of the world during this pandemic has tried, or some of the regions have actively pursued how to make the hospitality business sustainable. And especially if you look at the pandemic impact, the hospitality business, travel business is something the first which was impacted to start with, and I believe, in my opinion, would be the last to recover as well. Right, so I think various government schemes, region to region, country to country, are putting up. But in my personal opinion, there's a lot more to do to make the hospitality business to completely revive and thrive again. Otherwise, there's a risk, huge amount of risk on the hospitality industry. Again, not specific to Bali or Phuket, but I think this is very tough to answer and difficult one. So I'm just putting it in a general sense globally. Yes, Vinny.
I would like to add in something here, Vinny. So,
Sure.
when we talk about oversupply, it's actually very relative because of the current pandemic situation. When tourists are not there, that is why this looks like oversupply. But then if you look at these countries, whether it's Indonesia or Thailand, these countries have tourism as one of their main economy revenue generators, so to say. So because of this fact, and of course because of the number of travelers that visit these countries every year, they do need accommodation options. And hotel supply, of course, is like a very important factor when it comes to tourism. And also, the second part on this would be that so just a couple of days back, I was reading this news piece that the Thai government is actually taking a lot of interest and initiative to rebuild travel in the country. So they're actually giving subsidies for their locals to travel within the country to give a push to domestic tourism, so that people get out of their homes, they travel within the country, and obviously more bookings happening, more business for the hotels, restaurants, resorts in the country. So if other countries too, again depending on government policies, if they come up with such initiatives where they're trying to help the sector, that would really be useful. So just my 2 cents on this.
So, yeah, while Neha, just to add, as far as like, for example, Thailand is concerned, while the government is doing their own part, but Thailand is something largely impacted, and I think we all know that the in that GDP contribution, the tourism plays a very important role as far as Thailand is concerned. And the international biggest market for Thailand is China and India, and those both countries majorly impacted. And up until this international travel from this country starts or things becomes normal, I think it will take a long time for Thai market to recover. Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome, guys.
absolutely. And that's the reason, they're pushing domestic. So absolutely agree.
So, guys, first of all,
Over to you,
thank
Vinny.
you, thank you, really thank you, all of you, James, Murtuza, Izas, Niha, to be part of this project, a global project that we start and don't will be only this year. We 19 October, we're going to have the largest and the biggest forum for Latin America, Spanish speakers. Uh, we have a lot of companies join us. 23rd of November, we will have European, Middle East, and North Africa also join us for the Forum for Europe. And March next year, we're going to have Mexico and North America, as the US and Canada. And then we'll come move back. We're going to do 5 forums per year. So all of you are invited. And just to let you know, after all the travel tax, we're going to start with travel tax talks. We're going to have invite all of you independently to speak about your companies and have the opportunity to explain and what you do, what the process, all the tools you have. So thank you very much. Before you saying goodbye to everybody, I would like to thank you, Evermax, for sponsorship, for TAG, Ask Suite, HS Latin, and HS Europe to help us make this happen. And also, tomorrow we have another forum that's going to be 24th September. So we have operations, automations versus human touch, the impact on operation and customer experience. So tomorrow we're going to have Neil James, COO at Review Pro, Nicolas Chavanes, Head of Sales of Shekin. We're going to have Bernard Queck, CEO of Global Hospitality Solutions, and we're going to have Thomas Kunambi, CEO and co-founder of Premine. So I invite all of you to join us tomorrow, 3 p.m. Singapore. I think it's 8 a.m. London, 9 a.m. Paris, 3 p.m. Singapore, Beijing, and 5 p.m. Sydney. So guys, you have the time to say goodbye. James, please, you can start.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you, Vinny, and everyone else for bringing us together, inviting us here, and I very much enjoyed it. I look forward to hopefully participating in future ones with you guys. And if anybody viewing this has any particular questions, feel free to reach out to me. You'll find me on LinkedIn.
Thank you very much. Travel Tech is all about that, guys. We have competitors sitting together for the first time ever. We never have this in the world. It's the first time. In Travel Tech, join us, not to fight between each other. It should give knowledge, really. Our point is provide knowledge to the market. What do we want as a tech? We are not a cost for hotels. Hoteliers need to understand we are not a cost. We are helping you make more revenue. And normally hotels look to us and say, oh, those guys come again. They want to sell me something. No, that's the opportunity that you have a lot of big companies all over the world teaching and giving their tips and hints and hospitality and travel technologies. Dear Murtuza, it's your turn, please.
Thank you, Vinicius and Neha, for organizing this webinar. It was very interesting. And as an individual, I came to know a lot about the information about the APAC region. So I'm looking forward for more webinars like this in the near future. And thank you very much.
Welcome, Mr. Ias. It's your turn.
Yeah, thank you, Winnie and Neha, organizing this, putting up this, and in your October forum, as I do not speak Spanish, but I will surely arrange one of my colleagues to come join with you, and look forward to all the future such element. I am sure we are helpful to audience with our little experience into the hospitality industry, and will keep contributing and joining with you. Thank you, Winnie. Thanks, Neha.
Thank you very much. Neha, your time, my dear.
Thank you, Vinny. Thank you, all the speakers. It's really great to have had this opportunity to interact with you beyond this forum. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we did. And big thank you to Winnie for inviting Era of Max Rate Tiger to be a part of this mega project. We're really excited and we look forward to the future editions. Thank you.
Yeah, we will try to make Travel Tech the biggest forum online for now and for the future. That is what we want. Thank you, all of you. Thank you very much. Have a nice day, a nice evening.
Thanks, James.
Depends
Thanks,
where you
Murtuza.
are.
Have a nice day as
Bye-bye,
well.
guys.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.